What's good, YouTube? Welcome back. It's the Don. Welcome back to La Familia. We in the safe house today. And today, I'm going to be talking about the importance of reading books. Now, just imagine, you go through life, right? You live life with nothing but your own wisdom, your own intelligence, guided by nothing but your own intuition. You go through life like this. And where do you end up? You might be a prodigy, you might be a genius, but if you're none of that, you will end up living a mediocre life. A mediocre life, an average Joe, working a 9 to 5 at fucking Subway. Right? No offense to anybody that works at Subway, right? I ain't trying to knock your hustle. Just hear me out. So just imagine that scenario, right? Now imagine a different scenario where at birth you are gifted by God the ability to read, the skill to retain what you read, and you decide to utilize that skill and take in as much information as you can, learning from the mistakes of other people, living a life full of wisdom, not intelligence, full of wisdom. Alright, let me calm down. I know y'all are getting hyped up too, cause look, this is the family, La Familia, the Don. The Don is teaching right now. Alright, so listen. You go through life reading book after book, absorbing the knowledge, the wisdom of other people. Every time you read a book, it's like you've lived another life. Because now you're not only learning from the mistakes that you have made, you're learning from the mistakes that other people have made. The mistakes of the author. You take all his mistakes and you skip over that whole chapter in your life. Now what do you have? You have a life that is full of success, full of abundance, full of wealth, full of wisdom, full of knowledge. You are living a whole new life, a completely different life than the guy who's working at Subway. So we take Subway guy, we'll call him Jeff. And we take the guy that was gifted the ability to read, right? We'll call him Mark. So we got Jeff and Mark. They start off here, right? In life. And then, after making mistakes and living his life day to day, Jeff is now here after 10 years. And Mark does the same thing. He makes his own mistakes. He lives his life day to day. But he decides to read and take in wisdom and learn from the mistakes of others. In those same 5 years, he is now here. Now look at that gap. That's a significant gap. You would be able to tell the difference in between what type of men these two are. Just based off the way they carry themselves, the way they talk, the way they communicate, the way they express themselves. Just in who they are. You would be able to tell the difference. So we take those two men and then we go 20 years down the line. Who do you think is going to be more successful? Who do you think will be farther in life? The gap between their two lives will be so big that they will not be comparable. I'm telling y'all, bro. They wouldn't even be in the same room. They wouldn't even be in the same realm of existence. Even if they're sitting next to each other, one guy he's just there, and the other guy commands the room. It's two different levels of being. That is the importance of reading. You gain the wisdom of other lives. You read one book, you've essentially lived two lives. Your own and everything that the author has learned or has chose to teach you. Whatever. I don't know English. I know y'all like, damn, that's ironic. It's a bit ironic, ain't it? But look, let's get that out the way. That is the importance of reading. Now that we got that out the way, let me introduce to y'all 2 books that I recommend anybody to read. And at the end, I'll show y'all a book that I recommend nobody reads. Nobody should read this fucking book, no matter how many self-improvement YouTubers or gurus or, you know, whoever it may be. Whoever tells you to read this book, right? I recommend that you don't. The first book you should read, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Now, the main tenet in Buddhism is that no matter what you do, whether you're the prince that gets everything that he wants, or whether you're the homeless guy that has nothing, no matter what you do and who you are going to suffer. That is the main tenet in Buddhism. Now, I disagree with that, but we're not here to talk about that today. What this book teaches you is that in life, you have to find something to give a fuck about. You have to find something to give importance to. You know? And it's sort of the same in Buddhism. He explains it that at the end of the day, you're always suffering. So you could be a fat person that decides they care about eating, so they stay a fat person. And where does that get them in life? That gets them nowhere. Or you could be a fat person that decides they care about fitness and nutrition and doing all these things to elevate themselves as a person. Now, 10 years down the line, since they chose to give a fuck about that, they're living a whole new life. And this book pretty much teaches you that it's important to give a fuck about something. And you know, when it's your turn to stop giving a fuck, that's all it is. It's your turn to stop giving a fuck. It's no longer your place to care about something. That's the first book I recommend that everybody read. Start with that book. Now the second book, we have a little bit more meat, a little bit meatier, a little bit juicier, a little bit deeper. The Way of the Superior Man by David Dita. The first one was by Mark Manson. But this book, I'm telling y'all, deep. It gets deep. It essentially teaches you the energies of masculine energy and feminine energy and what the differences are and how they interact with each other and the subtleties in how they interact with each other. It's essentially a spiritual guide to masculinity. You know, for me personally, what it did for me was it kind of gave me that green light to say it's okay to act how you think you should act. You know, I love this girl, right? I have this girl that I love, but right now it's not time to focus on her. It's time to focus on my purpose. You know, I was kind of struggling balancing too, like, should I leave her? Should I stay? I mean, I love her. I guess I gotta stay. And then I read this book, right? And it teaches you that no woman should ever come before your purpose. Let me say that again. No woman should ever come before your purpose. Because at the end of the day, your purpose is your mission. That is what drives you at your masculine core. At your core, this is who you are. You are the guy that is choosing to follow your mission. This is what you should be doing as a man. Not only that, it also teaches you that the woman doesn't even want you to prioritize her. She doesn't even want you to do that. I'm sure y'all have seen this in your own lives or in the lives of people around you. When they choose to make the woman the number one thing in their life, it all goes to shit. I'm telling y'all, bro. I've seen it happen firsthand. Do not ever sacrifice your goals or your purpose for a woman. And you know, this gave me the validation that I needed. It was like a green light, like, yes, this is what you're supposed to do as a man. So I was like, hey, I gotta do what I gotta do. Now, the last book on this list that I think nobody should ever read, I'm sorry, Robert Greene, but I'm not sorry, is The 48 Laws of Power. Now, you might see this book recommended a lot wherever you go, wherever you watch your YouTube videos. But at the end of the day, this book teaches you manipulation, which is not something you should do as a masculine man. As a man that is honorable and stands on their integrity, You should not be manipulating people. Now, you can use this book to teach you if somebody is manipulating you. It teaches you how to work against that, right? But eventually, after a long period of time of reading that book and being in that frame of mind that people are playing games of power, you will go to your day-to-day interactions thinking that these people are playing a game of power with you. A game of power. When in reality, they're just living their life. You know, they got nothing to gain from being able to control you. They got nothing to gain from that. But you might see it in that way because of the frame of mind that you have put yourself in. You might think that these people are playing a game of power because that is the lens that you're viewing life through. And I'm telling y'all, bro, like, I've been through this myself. Like, it will fuck up your whole mind if you continue to read it and if you continue to think that way. So yes, this is the book that I'm highly against this book. But yeah, that's it for today's video. I'll make a separate video on these two books. And yeah, that's it. It's been the Don. Hope y'all have a blessed day. Hope y'all learned something from this video. You know, if anything, I want you to take home that you should read and to implement those lessons that you learn. Implement them into your own life. Yeah, that's it for today. I'm gonna see y'all in the next one.